Hello, beautiful people. What's up? I'm here an hour late, but I am here. And we are going to be discussing Snowfall episodes 9 and 10. This is the final season to such an epic story. I literally just watched episodes 9 and episode 10, and y'all. I kind of feel like I don't know how I feel about this ending, but I do know how I feel about this ending. I will say I was wrong. My prediction for how it was going to end was dead wrong. I thought it would end tragic for every single solitary person, and that everybody Franklin loved would be dead, gone, and he would just be alone with his money. Because now they did, shine the light on him and money, that relationship, but it didn't play out the way that I thought it would play out. So, okay, I'm not gonna really go in order of like how the events transpired, episode 9 and 10. I'm just gonna knock off certain stuff. So let's get certain stories out the way. For one, Louis. At the top of episode 9, because remember, I think episode 7 or episode 8, when Oso and Franklin was getting the plan together on how they were going to get Teddy, Oso ends up letting Franklin know that I've been talking to the DEA, and Franklin kind of started tripping a little bit, but he lets Franklin know they don't want you. You ain't on their radar. They ain't got nothing on you. However, they do have Louis because, she was the one making the drops and stuff with Teddy. So he holds out on that info. So the top of episode 9, we see her, Louis, about to get out of Dodge. She got the car, she got the folks, and she like, 5 minutes. She come down with 2 big old duffel bags full of cash. And she ends up getting a page, which I'm presuming it was like a 911 page because she kind of rushes to call the number. But I was kind of like, first of all, this ain't a time where you can like cell phone people. Bruh, don't page me that that they finna raid my house, because what if I don't check the page immediately? What if I don't call you back immediately? And when I tell y'all, he calls Louis to give her the heads up and just is like, the DEA got you, they know everything, you about to be raided. Y'all, when I tell you, this was the shortest heads up I done ever seen somebody get in my entire life. She was still on the phone with him. We saw the dang lights and the people pulling up. But she needed them 10 seconds because baby barely got it out. But what kind of annoyed me was, so Louis runs. She ends up, and I would have been mad. Like, she literally just put the duffels of cash in the trunk. I would have rather run with one of them duffels. But anyway, she ends up running with nothing, just the clothes on her back, literally. And y'all, who does she call? She calls crackhead Buckley. And I've been waiting for Buckley to get some comeuppance since the whole thing with Jerome, because Louis was so dead set on blaming Franklin for why Jerome was dead, when I felt like it was Louis' fault. But at the same time, it was also Buckley's fault, because Buckley off his game, obviously. He owned that stuff. But I feel like if we would have came to rescue you with an extra gun, that could have helped some kind of way. Instead of Jerome walking in that room with just his one gun pointed at Kane, it could have been 2 of us walking in with 2 guns pointed at Kane. I don't know. Even if it didn't play out differently, the point is we called you for help. You did not aid us. So I'm going to put some of the death on you. But anyway, she asked him at the funeral, Jerome ain't paid you. And he just was like, nah. But anyway, she calls Buckley. Now, this little feeling we got in the car, I thought something was finna go down on Buckley's end. She ends up telling him what's going on. And he, first thing he worried about is, well, do they know anything about me? You got me in some shit, girl. But this is the part when I said a few minutes ago annoyed me. Louis ends up saying that snitch bitch Franklin. That annoyed me because Franklin did not snitch on you. Like, that's the part that got on my nerve. Like, yeah, he knew what was going on and could have told you, but he wanted the whole thing, to go down with Teddy. So yeah, it's some shadiness in that, but he ain't snitch on you, girl. I don't know, that kind of annoyed me. But anyway, as they're riding in the car, Buckley he already just giving, I don't know. He is in the car talking about some, what's the plan? You got some money? Baby, if a crackhead asks you about, do you got some money on you? It's because they want that money on you. And she ends up telling him, she got $1 million stashed away at this house. And he like, I won't have. The vibe in the car, I was feeling like he not gonna just take half, Louis. He gonna take you out and take it all. Because why wouldn't I? So if y'all hear some noise, my dogs want to play right now. So I'm trying to do this, so y'all might hear them making noise. But anyway, it just felt like a tension in the car, and I thought Buckley was about to do something to her, because I really felt like he ain't finna just take, like, it's like if a crackhead asks you for $10 and you pull out a wad of cash and you just finna get them 10, they gonna want to take the whole wad. He ain't gonna just take half. I thought something was finna go down, and then he hit her with the, I gotta take him. I gotta go pee. He pulls the car over, and I'm like, oh yeah, he about to do something. He about to no, he wasn't. The pipe was calling him. That's all that was. So he ends up, and I thought this was the craziest. I don't know. I guess this is crackhead behavior. We literally on the run. We literally riding in the car about to go to the $1 million, and I need to get out of Dodge. And you want to pull over to smoke crack? Like, I thought that was the trippiest thing. Like, bro, this ain't the time or the place. But he go behind the tree smoking crack, whatever. And Louie in the car, remember, she just had to leave with the clothes on her back. She did not have anything, but she's looking through his car, and she gets a gun. And that's when she rolls up on him, sees him smoking, and she like, hand me your pager. Now this, I will say, initially I was confused by, but then I had to think for a minute. She sees that, hey, Michelle, I think I pronounced that right, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. She's like, let me see your pager. She sees that Jerome did in fact page him, which duh. And maybe Buckley's so high he forgot, because he was like, look, you ain't gonna find nothing on the pager. So I guess he's so high he just forgot. But I was so confused initially. Why should they just kill him, or at least maim him, shoot him, do something? You so mad at Franklin and calling him the devil, but the person that your man who ended up dead called for help did not come, and you don't do nothing but take his car? Because she tried to say, hand me your keys. I don't want to have to shoot you. I don't want the kids to not have their daddy. The kid's daddy is a crackhead, which, yeah, you can always go get clean, but that would not be on my mind at that moment. I would have killed him. But then I had to think, has Louie ever cold blood killed anybody over 6 seasons? Obviously she ended up killing her girlfriend, but I mean, like, has she ever just cold blood killed somebody? To my recollection, I feel like she hasn't. So that's why I was like, you know what, when I thought about it, it did make sense that she didn't kill Buckley, because that's not easy to just look somebody in the face and just kill them. And to my recollection, the only person I remember her killing was her girlfriend, which, if my memory serves, that wasn't like cold blood murder. They was in the bathroom, the girl wasn't she getting hot in the tub or something? Whole little thing went down or whatever, child. So I'm gonna let it slide that she didn't kill Buckley. And I'm looking down at my little notes I got here, because like I said, I literally just watched the episode and I was trying to like jot down certain stuff. Now Louie ends up, they did time jumps, which I can't remember all of them exactly. I want to say we jumped 3 months, we jumped a year, and I think in the end we jumped 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, we end up seeing the DEA coming after Louie, and it's the head DEA guy that we've been seeing for seasons, who first was with the female female agent that got Oso and Lucia, I think was her name, and the same DEA agent who had the new female DEA agent and was trying to, work with Oso. It's him still. This man ain't giving up, y'all. Both of his female agents done been killed. Nothing has worked out in his favor, at least from what we see. I don't know what other cases he got, but the cases we have seen him have on the show, nothing has worked out for this man. But he's still going. And he pulls up to, I want to say these are the same stables where Louie used to be riding her horses. And they got Louie back there in the barn, dirty, hiding like a runaway slave. And the old couple is, covering for her. They're just like, yeah, she was here. last winter or last summer or something like that, they said, and she came for working and she left, and that's normal. We, have people come here and they just work on the stables and stuff. Now, this is what don't make no sense to me. They got millions. Not as, when I say they, I mean Jerome and Louis. Nowhere near 70, nowhere near as much as Franklin. Nobody got as much as Franklin had. But you mean to tell me with millions, you don't have nothing buried somewhere? You don't have an exit plan? You don't say, what am I going to do if ish hit the fan and I need to just really get out of Dodge? Like, yeah, she had 2 duffels at the house, but it just doesn't make sense to me that you don't have something buried somewhere. And obviously, I'm going to presume she can't touch that money that her and Jerome had in the bank, because I'm presuming if the DEA come after you, they're probably going to freeze your accounts. I mean, any like mob story and stuff I watch, they freeze your accounts. But if I'm already doing shady stuff and I'm a criminal, I wouldn't have like a secret bank account under like a fake, identity. Like, people go get fake, driver's license and birth certificates of crap. Like, you ain't got the money to go do that. So you just, I don't know. I just would think you would have some type of contingency plan. And that's really what was tripping me out when it comes to this whole scenario with everybody. We're going to get to Franklin, child. But we end up getting to Franklin at this little stash house with the KGB guy and Teddy. And when I tell y'all, I was salivating at the mouth. Because, child, if y'all been watching my videos on this season, I've been ready for Teddy to die slow. Like, I've been wanting Teddy in a jigsaw trap. Like, I was salivating. Like, yes, y'all, what is y'all finna do to this nigga? Like, I was so excited. Y'all, they didn't do nothing. I mean, yeah, they did something now, child. But it was just too much of a lag where I was like, there are moments when Sissy talking to them, which I thought was stupid. I'm not taking the little hood off. I'm not talking to them. But there were moments when Sissy was talking to Teddy. There were moments when Franklin was talking. And I'm like, if y'all don't hit him, punch him, take a screwdriver and stab him in the knee. There's a moment where Franklin talking to Teddy, standing behind him, and he come up behind him. I'm sitting like, if you don't grab his hair and like yank his head back while you talk, like, I would have been so aggressive. In these conversations with Teddy, they weren't doing enough damage. Like, it was just really, that irked me. That irked me really, really badly. Now, of course, one person I gotta get to is Sissy. Now, Sissy be getting a lot of hate from what I be seeing, and I don't get it. I'm over 6 seasons. I ain't never really had a real problem with Sissy. I like Sissy just fine amongst the story. Is she like a fan favorite character for me? No. But I don't dislike her. I don't have any issues with her. But child, so the evolution of Sissy for a hot minute, like over the course of 6 seasons. Of course, Sissy started off when Franklin first get into this and she finds out. She cut Franklin off. She don't talk to him. She don't want nothing to do with him because of what he's doing. But I feel like it's always so funny to me and such a joke to me when people be like controlling or trying to control their kids. You can't control nobody. Particularly strong-willed people. Like, if you got some strong-willed ass kids, it ain't much you can do. You may have the illusion of control, and I'm talking about, it's some real, just for the most part, I feel like you're not gonna be able to control people. But there are some strong-willed people. Like, I was that strong-willed child. I'm gonna just take my punishment. Like, I ain't even care. I truly didn't. I was like, I take it because I want to do what I want to do. I don't F the consequences. I was very much a F the consequences kind of child, which ain't good, but I was. And I feel like Sissy as a parent came to the realization that, look, Franklin gonna do what he want to do, but she wanted a relationship with her son. And I feel like Sissy, very misguided, felt like, okay, she can at least help Franklin do this the right way. Which, I mean, is there a right way to sell drugs? I don't know. But, some type of way she wanted him to do this the right way. And that was the season where we came in and we saw that they were into real estate and had that office. And they had these places in the black community, because remember how her boss was just a racist slumlord. So I feel like she felt like, well, this may be something negative or something bad, but we could take it and do something positive. I feel like she did that spin for the sake of her son. It wasn't really something she wanted per se or wanted to be involved in, but she wanted her son to be in her life. Now, any of Sissy's back and forth never really bothered me until we got to episode 9. So Sissy go in to talk to Teddy and the KGB guy, right? Franklin comes in and tells Teddy, I'm finna leave. When the sun come up and the bank's open, I'm gonna come in here and you needed to give me my money. So he leave. And Leon and Sissy are left here with Teddy and the KGB guy, Ruben. Now, I feel like, y'all, was it just me? Sissy was coming across very gullible. Because she just was so easily, I would not believe a word anybody was saying. For one, if you're in this situation, you're going to say anything you got to say to get out of here. The KGB guy goes to tell her, Sissy, let me go. My briefcase had a recorder, hiding in it. It recorded everything. We know everything about Franklin. And if I don't, contact my superiors in 24 hours, they're going to take the recordings and the tapes to, who did he say they was going to take it to? They're going to take the recordings to the international journalists. And if you'll ruin, your son. And I'm just sitting here like, Sissy was sitting there like her facial expression, like she was like shook. And I'm just like, I wouldn't believe a word. Me personally, I wouldn't believe a word he said. He could say grass green, and I'm just gonna say you lying. Like, no matter what anyone says in this situation, I'm just not gonna believe you. Now, Sissy upset with Ruben because she's like, of course you played me. But then she go talk to Teddy, and she's all, tell me what you did with Alton. At least let me not wonder. Again, I feel like she was being stupid. Lady, who been wondering about what happened to Alton? Talking about let her sleep at night and get some peace. I'm like, who has been wondering what happened to Alton? Who has been confused on what happened? Baby, he dead. He dead. But then we get to Teddy and Teddy attitude. And y'all know I can't. Teddy really, for me, is one of the top hated TV characters ever in history of TV for me. But Teddy attitude, y'all. So he talking to Sissy. And Sissy is telling him, you don't feel bad. You don't feel anything for the destruction you call everything you've done. And let me tell you, y'all, just by the bit, ain't this just like a self-righteous ass white person? When I tell you, Teddy got nerve to say, am I cooking up the rock? Am I slanging on the corner? Teddy, nigga, you a drug dealer. I don't care what your role is in the drug dealing. You a drug, just cause you ain't, I just could not believe that. Am I cooking up the rock? Am I slanging on the, it ain't my fault the crackheads can't leave it alone. Nigga, I was, and at this point in the game, nothing from Teddy should shock. It really, this is very on brand for Teddy. But I still was just sitting there like, you can't even fake humility or nothing like that. Even for this moment, you can't even fake it. I just felt like, ain't this about a bitch? I could not believe that Teddy had the nerve to say, I ain't cooking up that rock. I just could not even believe it. I don't know what pain and suffering you talking about. I ain't did nothing. I'm just saying, I was just like, if y'all don't kill, when I tell y'all, I literally, this just me. F that said a million. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would have gotten more satisfaction from making Teddy suffer. And hey, if I can get few of them million, my 7 million back, but I would not negotiate. I would not, nothing. Give me my 7 million, suffer, slow, and die. Them the only options you got. And I'm not playing no games. I'm not having no conversation. I'm finna be in, look, let me tell you, child. I would have told Teddy ass up. But anyway, so he ended up talking to Sissy, talking about, Alton not dead. Did you see any blood? I watched you leave that day, and I put him in a Puerto Rican prison or something like that. He said, and I'm just saying, and Sissy still swallowing. And I'm just like, why are y'all writing Sissy so gullible right now? It ain't I would not believe. People gonna say anything they have to when they tied up in the damn basement with a bag on their head. Girl, if you believe Alton alive, I'm gonna assume you believe in the Easter Bunny. Like, it should have been no ifs, ands, buts, nothing. That irked my nerves so bad. But I felt like the KGB he was lying. He ain't got no tapes. And that's just how I would have played it. You ain't got no tapes. You saying whatever you gotta say to get out of this situation. Alton dead. And Teddy really ain't even have no leverage for me to believe. The KGB guy with the tapes, okay, good bluff. Maybe you do got tapes, but I wouldn't have bought it. But for me, Teddy ain't have a good bluff. Alton alive in a prison, nigga, you lying. Alton was a liability. Alton had information that Teddy did not want shouted out. And Alton proved that not only did he have information, but he was willing to shout it out. It ain't no way in hell Teddy would have had Alton in a prison somewhere where he could escape prison. He could still talk to folks, still spread. No, y'all, was it just me? Like, Sissy was gullible for that. It ain't no way you can believe that. But, okay, so let's jump back to when I said Sissy up and down or whatever never bothered me until we got here. So, Franklin come in the next morning. And, of course, Teddy's sitting there like, what would you do in my position? Would you give up the only leverage you have? I can't stand Teddy and his dead eyes. Teddy they didn't hurt Teddy as much as I needed them to, but I did get a little satisfaction. So, Saint ends up playing Russian roulette with Teddy. And it wasn't good enough for me, y'all. When I tell you, I would have Teddy up. Teddy would have experienced the stigmata. I would have nailed Teddy to the cross. Like, I would have been peeling his skin off. I would have just been looking at horror movies and experimenting on Teddy. Like, okay, I get it. It's like psychological torture with that Russian roulette. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. That isn't good enough. I'm about to pull out Hellraiser type trap. Y'all ever saw that movie Hellraiser? And how them people was being like tortured and skin ripped off. That's what I would have been doing to Teddy ass. And he a man. I would have went straight for his penis. I'm stabbing something through your penis. I'm chopping off. You can still live. It's a lot I could have did to Teddy and he would have still been alive. The first thing I'm going for is your manhood. I'm sorry, but I am. I would have chopped that thing off. I would have been holding it in my hand. Like, what? Give me the account numbers. I would have been holding it in one hand with another knife saying account numbers, and I would have been slowly slicing account number. Like, look, this scene, y'all, this scene for me was so frustrating because I'm like, Franklin, fuck all that talking, nigga. This Russian roulette, nigga. Like, just tear this nigga ass up. But anyway, Franklin now, and let me tell you, I had said something in one of my other videos. What did I say? Oh, about Teddy feeling like he's self-righteous. And somebody had corrected me, was like, no, it's not that Teddy's self-righteous. It's that he think he's better than Franklin. And you know what? Whoever said that, you was right. You was right. Franklin is like a joke to Teddy. Even in this situation, Teddy wasn't taking Franklin serious. You tied up. And I was on edge because I felt like if you CIA or you Jason Bourne, you know how to get out of some handcuffs. So Teddy being handcuffed to this, it wasn't good enough for me. But he didn't get out. But even in this situation of being tied up, bag over your head, Franklin playing Russian roulette, Teddy saying like, what, you got blanks in there? No, like even in this, he still don't take Franklin serious. And that's when Franklin shoot up to the ceiling like, no, I ain't play. Y'all, this pissed me the hell off. That's enough, Franklin. Sissy, I'm like, Sissy, get your ass out of here. Y'all, and like I said, it's a lot of people be hating. I ain't never had a problem with Sissy. I really never had. I ain't got a problem with Sissy. But the second she came in there, when we just not getting Teddy ass shook, that's enough. Yeah. When I tell you, I was so mad. I was so pissed. Yo, look, let me tell you, child. When you black, you don't talk to your mama all kind of ways. But that would have been the moment I would have jumped out of that curse out like one of them little white teenagers. Like, mama, you get the fuck out of here. this nigga up, mama. That's enough, Franklin. Y'all, that hurt my nerves so bad. But then Franklin walks out the room. Baby, Sissy gonna tell Franklin, we need to just walk away. And I'm sitting here like, y'all, you ever see something, you know how planes fly and you know you have certain gas to get to the destination and they say we have hit the point of no return? Sissy, this the point of no, you should have told us to walk away a long time ago. You should have told us to walk away in episode 2. How you gonna tell me to walk away when I'm too deep in this at this moment? Honestly, I have no problem with Sissy saying walk away if it was way before this moment. We too deep in this. Like, we here now. That's like me standing in the bank with the ski mask on. I done shot and told people to put their hands up. And then you gonna say, you know what? Let's not rob this bank. Nigga, we here now. We might as well rob the bank. Like, we got the nigga tied up. And you gonna say walk away? Mama, we here now. That irked me. That irked me. Like I said, it don't irk me to say walk away. It irks me to say walk away here now. We already in this. It's too late to walk away. Mama. Oh, yeah. That grind my gears. And then, Leon. You know what, Franklin? Your mama right. We need to walk away. Y'all, and somebody need to give dancing all the awards. The acting was so brilliant, especially his scenes with Teddy. But the way he was looking in the scene, like, ain't that about a y'all, and I was right there with him. Because I was like, ain't that about a I would have told both of them, y'all could leave. Y'all could leave. Because I'm finna this nigga up. Y'all don't even want to see what I'm about to do to this nigga. But Franklin ends up being like, I ain't giving up. Ever. Everybody breaks. He gonna break. But y'all, what tripped me out above all, not just how unimaginative Franklin is, because like I said, maybe it's because I done seen a lot of horror movies. But it's a lot we could have did to Teddy. But y'all, why it had to be V to come in with the real torture? And I loved V isn't a character that I have enjoyed. She's fine. But honestly, kind of boring, kind of meh, kind of blah. I really don't care about V. This was the best I have seen of V's character. When V walks in that room with Teddy and she started telling that story, you know, my mama never cooked. I thought it was a feminist thing. She's that kind of woman. I was sitting like, baby, where we going with this? Okay, V. Okay, V. Like, I don't know. It was something about her demeanor, her attitude, the way she was talking, the way she just walked in. Hello, Teddy. Like, she just walked in casual, like the nigga ain't tied in the basement. I don't know. I just really, really love this. But when she started talking about you ever see what hot grease do to skin? And that's when I'm like, and you got Franklin in the background putting the corn oil. What was that? Was it corn oil? Whatever it was. I ain't never cooked. I didn't know you cooked with no corn oil. I don't know what oil it was, child. But they was in there cooking like this was 1930. Like I felt like they was cooking on a wood stove. Like that's how they was doing this little oil. When I tell you, I ain't one for torture. All you gotta do is flash something and I'm gonna sing like a canary. I'm gonna tell you everything. The second you poured the grease in the pot, I would've gave you the account number, my mama account number, my dad account number, my childhood best friend. I would've gave you all the account numbers I know. Like I would've just gave you everything. But like I said, it's something in Teddy's demeanor and attitude where he just look at Franklin like a little nigga. Like he just don't take Franklin. He just, no matter what happens, that dynamic of Teddy feeling like he's in charge, he the man, he over Franklin, even in this, that dynamic didn't really change. Teddy still had that attitude. But when I tell y'all, I finally got a little bit of satisfaction. When Teddy in that chair and Franklin rip his shirt open, I would have opened up the pants and pulled the boxers down. That's just me, because he a man. I'm pouring that hot grease on your little man. Hey, that me. Because that is what's gonna make a nigga talk. But anyway, when we hear him in that, y'all, that scream was such satisfaction. I don't know if I'm morbid, but I hate Teddy so much. That scream, Y'all, it was the sweetest scream I've heard. That sounded better than Beyonce singing. Like that was the way I can't even really mimic it, the way Teddy was screaming, and you could hear the screaming just echoing throughout the whole. Y'all, it was amazing. But see, somebody like me, and y'all, they showed Teddy sitting there with the chest open. Baby, the skin was bubbling. I didn't even know you could have a bubble skin. Like it was a bubble, but it was skin. Baby, the skin was bubbling. And Teddy's still just sitting there like, you think they're all about you? And I'm saying like, Teddy. And when I tell you, I'd have took that hot oil, I would have just dumped it on his head. Like he would have been dead before I got any money, because I would have just that nigga up. I would have took that hot grease, I would have dumped it on him. First of all, like I said, the very, very first thing I would have did was threaten to chop off his little penis, because that's how you get a man. Then I'd have poured the hot grease on you, whatever was left. Like what is left after you cut a penis off? Whatever is left there, that's what the hot grease would have went on. Then the hot grease would have went on your chest. Then the hot grease would have got poured on top of your head. Because Teddy, you think I'm fucking playing with you, nigga? I ain't playing. Like I'm about to F you up. Like now Franklin keep trying to have a conversation with Teddy, which was irking me, and I get it. And you know what? Honestly, I fell for Teddy game in the earlier seasons. Like when they would be having, Franklin and Teddy would be having interactions and conversations, I really thought they were having genuine human connection and interactions. Like I really did. Teddy is he a master manipulator. But at this point in the game, to me, it's no solace in anything Teddy would say. I would have nothing for him. Now, I did appreciate Franklin finally hit him with the why you had to take everything. Why you had to take, because that was literally my first thought when he first robbed Franklin. Like it was 70 million or 73 million, somewhere in that range. Bro, you couldn't leave me, Franklin said you couldn't leave me 5 million. And in my mind, I'm thinking, shoot, nigga, you couldn't leave me 20,000. Like you literally could not leave me nothing. Nothing. And it just goes to show how little Teddy thought of Franklin and felt of Franklin. Franklin was like, you couldn't just leave me 5 mil and a thank you for your service. And one thing that really irks me with Teddy gonna lie and manipulate to his last breath. You think it's all about you because his chest bubbling? Do you know what 70 million in covert funds could do? Baby, when I tell you, Franklin say, nah, nigga, the Pentagon spent 250 billion. You needed my pocket change. When I tell y'all, Dancing was acting his ass off. You needed my pocket change. Let's say a nigga like me said $1 million pocket change. Okay. You know what I can do with 70 million? Shoot, you know what I can do with 70,000. But anyway, that's why when Mama said, let you walk away. No, baby, if this 70,000, I ain't walking away. You hear me? I want my 70,000. But anyway, finally though, after Teddy talking about, Franklin was like, don't talk about God and country. That ain't why you did it. Finally, Teddy gets real. And I feel like this was probably the most honest thing Teddy done said out of 6 seasons. He said, I took that money because it ain't yours. That's my money, nigga. He ain't say the N word, but y'all know. And this really just sums up the Teddy McDonald, Franklin Saint relationship. It wasn't your money. That was mine. I gave it to you. This was my operation. That was my money. When I tell you, I was sitting there like, if you don't pour that hot grease down his throat. This nigga is looking at Franklin like lint. Like just lint, dust. I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna get you to sell the drugs that I bring in this country to fund my operation. And after you do that, instead of me just making the money I make from this, I'm taking yours too, because that ain't even yours. It's mine. Because, little nigga, you just under me, working for me. This my operation. That's my money. But when I tell y'all what really took the cake for me, and I feel like I did not like how contained Franklin seemed in these interactions. I needed him to really go off and go crazy. When Teddy had the nerve to say, Let's split it. What? Y'all, hold on. Who steal from somebody and say I give you half of what I stole back? Are you crazy? I'd have slapped fire out of You do not steal from me and say I give you half of your shit that I stole. Who do? Y'all. I would have. Oh, I needed different writers. Because Franklin should have. But you know what? Franklin was so desperate, I guess he'll just take whatever. But for me, it ain't just desperation. I'm standing on principle. You do not steal my shit and say I give you half for your shit back. Ugh. Yo, no, baby. No, I'm not working hourly. You not the IRS. You not getting half of my shit. Like, I could not believe Teddy had the audacity to say, well, I give you half. No, nigga. Give me all my money. Oh, or you just die. Period. That's it. And I'm so mad that they never found his girlfriend, because I would have poured grease all over her too. Just because I just need him to suffer. And I'm sorry. Not in the real world, okay? Not as me. I'm not thug life. But in the Snowfall world, if I'm Franklin, I gotta find a little boy. I'm sorry. I gotta find a little boy. I don't want to have to burn this little nigga, so you better give me what I want. I'm gonna cut off all the penises I need to cut off. Give me my money. I done cut yours off, now I'm finna cut your sons off. I'm finna end your whole bloodline right here. Like, y'all, when I tell y'all the way I flipped out of my living room, this nigga had nerve to say, I give you half. You don't give me half of my shit. I just could not believe it. But he said, look, Franklin was Franklin was in there like a crackhead. I'll take half. I take half the rock. Just give me half the rock. But not only do you not give me half of my shit, but also, we can't trust Teddy. Why we ain't learned by now? No, Teddy, why you can't trust that nigga? You can't trust Teddy as far as you could throw him. So the deal is, Teddy calls the bank from in there to put the money in an escrow. You know, look, I'm not with these rich folks. What is escrow? But he put it in an escrow. And then when Franklin goes to hand him over to his CIA liaison person, he'll make the final call, right? Look, if it's me, and maybe I done seen too many movies, I'm gonna feel like the second I walk out there, y'all gonna just have a sniper waiting to kill me. Like, I don't know. I don't trust it. You need to make everything happen right here, or I'm gonna cut your penis off. No, his penis already cut off. I'm just gonna be pouring more grease on you. I'm finna put you in a jigsaw trap. I'm finna be ripping your skin apart like the Hellraiser movie. Do everything right here. And if I feel merciful enough, I'll go dump you somewhere. But I would have let Teddy know off rip, baby, you dying in here today. Period. And the only way that you could maybe not die is to give me all my money. Because, see, I ain't going to guarantee you ain't going to die, but that's going to be your best chance of not dying. Anything less than all the money you owe me, and you dying right here. The only difference is going to be how long you going to be in here dying. Because, baby, we can stress this shit out. When I tell you, I'd have hired one of them back alley doctors to be in here reviving this nigga. That's how much I would have been in here torturing him. You gonna stay alive for this shit, nigga. I would have got a back alley doctor that just keep reviving that nigga. Because I would, and you know what? I be getting way too emotional just watching shows. But y'all, is it just me? I be feeling like I know these niggas. If I ever see the actor that played Teddy in real life, we gonna fight. I'm like we just gonna throw hands. Because I can't stand this actor. I can't stand his dumbass haircut. I can't stand that facial hair. I can't stand his dumbass facial expression with them dead eyes. I just cannot stand this actor. But anyway, Franklin agree like an idiot. Like a Dumbo, if you ask me. But anyway, when I tell you, he going there. Hey, y'all, I got sidetracked. I was supposed to tell y'all how I concluded for all the insignificant people. I started with Louis, and then I just jumped. I was supposed to go to Oso, but we'll get there, because now we on this track. But Franklin going there to V and Leon and Sissy. And Sissy is like, now mind you, Sissy just told us to walk away a commercial break ago. And then she go hit Franklin with her, you just gonna let him go? Mama, is you getting Alzheimer's? Because you just told me to let the nigga go. And now that I'm finna let him go. Even though Sissy did say, give him to she wanted both of them to go. She wanted the KGB guy to go and Teddy. And she wanted us to just give Teddy to the KGB guy. But I'm saying like, baby, a commercial break ago, you told me to walk away. And now that I'm about to walk away with my money, he wasn't never gonna walk away with that money. But now that I'm about to walk away with my money, you telling me that you gonna just let him go? I'm saying like, sissy girl, what you want? What you want? When I tell you, Franklin hit her with the, he getting half, and now Sissy was very correct. You really think he gonna let you walk away? Because when Franklin say, so you just gonna forget about all this? And Teddy was like, I'd rather just be, I've had my fill of you and me. He lying. You really think that Teddy, who, let's see, Teddy gave his word that Alton could go to Puerto Rico or Cuba and he was going to leave them alone. He jumped back and killed them. You really think that he killed the, what was that lady? Y'all, what was that? Was she Asian? What was that newspaper lady? He killed her. You mean to tell me that you got Teddy, you frying chicken on Teddy's chest. You got this nigga chest looking like Popeyes and you think he just gonna wash his hands of it? You dumb as hell. Ain't no way in the world. But anyway, Franklin tells her, we're willing to take that chance. When I tell you, look, see, if I got a son, I'm about to slap fire out of you. I'm pregnant and all. You can survive a slap if you pregnant. That baby okay. When I tell you, V had the nerve to be like we said, well, risky. Shut up. When I was like, yeah, girl, this family business. Y'all ain't even married. This family business. You better take your little hot ass girlfriend out of here. When she told old girl, shut up, I was like, But when I tell you, now this sequence ended how I expected it to end. Now, the way I was feeling in this scene, I said, sissy, just walk in there and shoot Ted in the head. That was literally how I was feeling. But I went into this with the mind, we not getting the money. I just want to F up Teddy. So the second that Franklin, and of course with a story like this, you tend to think it's going to either end with Franklin dead or in jail. That's typically the two roles you think is going to happen. So at this point, when Franklin is about to go meet up with the CIA, yo, how your glasses be getting smudged and stuff? Like, what's touching your eyes? Like, how is anything on your eyes to smudge up your glasses? That be annoying me. But anyway, so my thought and feeling in this situation, I was like, sissy, just walk in there and shoot him in the head. Because Franklin not getting that money and he probably just finna go get killed. Oh, and I forgot to mention, y'all, Teddy had the nerve. Of all the nerve Teddy be having, you're an animal, Franklin. When you just finna boil this nigga? When you just finna evaporate him? But Franklin an animal. But do y'all see? It's so many messages in this show that I don't even want to get into all the racial stuff. But it's so many messages in it. I'm the animal. Really? I'm the all the shit Teddy done. You was about to boil me. You had Franklin hanging like a slave, about to boil him or disintegrate him or whatever the hell that little concoction was. But Franklin the animal? Get the fuck out of here. And then the whole, am I on the corner slanging? Am I rocking up the crack? Do y'all see the unmitigated gall and double standard? But we ain't even finna get. It's so much racial stuff you can get into of the messaging with this show. But I ain't even got time to even get into all that. But anyway, so Sissy and this trip. Did anybody catch this? Sissy said, "I don't want Leon." Sissy said, "I don't want Leon or my grandchild next to this. I'm going to go with you just in case they try to kill you on sight." What Florida Evans supposed to do if they try to kill Franklin on sight? When I tell y'all this was the jankiest gangster meetup, how you going to the meet with your mama with that damn sweater on? Y'all, I couldn't. That took me the hell out. You would have never seen Scarface or Nino Brown walking up to the meet with they mama with this sweater. Y'all, that killed me. What would I'm going to the meet just so they don't kill you on sight? What was you gonna do? Well, she had a little pistola. But if they kill Franklin on sight, he just be dead, and you be standing there in your damn sweater. Why she got that sweater on in California? It was hot as it looked hot as hell. Why she had that sweater on? Y'all, that sweater took me out. But anyway, that just threw me when she said, "I'm gonna." I knew something was up when she says, "I don't want them near it. I'm going to the meet just so they don't shoot you on sight." The fuck was you supposed to do, sissy? Now if it was Alton, cause Alton was a little thug. He was a little gang. The Alton different. But Sissy, what? But we ended up seeing what Sissy did. But in the moment of the show, I'm sitting here like, how the hell you gonna stop anything if they try to kill Franklin on sight, Sissy? What was you gonna stop? What was you gonna do, ma'am? I mean, like, for real. So, Sissy and Franklin, we leave the KGB guy, but the deal that we make with, what's the man name? I ain't even looked down at my notes this whole time. I'm just running my mouth. I was supposed to try to keep this like a certain... What was that man name? Havenmeyer? Y'all, how y'all say his name? I want to say it's pronounced Havenmeyer. But anyway, the CIA liaison, Teddy Boss. The deal is, I already told y'all to deal with the money. Part 2, when we get to the drop, after it's in escrow, then we're going to finish the transfer. But the deal with the boss is, and I love the whole, you know who this is, nigga? Oh, and it was a scene when Franklin called Ted a nigga, and I was like, yes. Because he said, you the hero in your own story. Because in your story, the people that look like you always win. Not this time, nigga. I loved it. But anyway, the deal is, we go to the meet, we bring Teddy, and we give them the Russian spy, the KGB guy, Ruben, right? That's the deal. And I was really feeling like at least Franklin got a little sense, because I said, you think I'm finna put all my eggs in the basket and just walk over there? I'm not bringing you Teddy and the KGB guy and y'all could kill me and I'm just getting everything. But Franklin had a little sense. He did not bring the KGB guy. So we go to a public place, and the way they were shooting this, baby, I'm too paranoid. They had it looking like all the white folk just walking around was a part of the CIA. One guy with his little briefcase, I would have had to snatch his briefcase. What the fuck is in your briefcase? Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry. Because that was freaking me out, y'all. The way they was like, kept pointing attention to random people walking by. I ain't like that white lady. She had a little hair. I ain't like that. I ain't like the way her hair was cut. You look like you in the CIA. Like, that was throwing me off. But I guess it was maybe playing up to the paranoia of the moment. But they did good with that, because child, I was paranoid. I would have effed up the drop, because I would have snatched the old boy briefcase. I would have slapped that white lady like, I know you got something on you. Everybody looked suspect to me. But anyway, so, oh, y'all, Teddy chest was effed up. Oh, it was effed up. I'm telling you, if you would have pulled his, but see, look, if we would have pulled his pants down and took his little Johnson out with that hot, you want me to do it? Y'all, you would have had a whole 70, Franklin. But anyway, but I feel like he should have just had him call and do everything from the basement. But Franklin's whole mind was just the money. It was just like laser focus. That's all he cared about. But I would have been in the I ain't got nothing else to lose. When Teddy hit him with the you gonna get nothing. I already got nothing. So I came here with nothing, and I'll leave here with nothing. But I'll leave here with you dead. But anyway, I just wouldn't have left that warehouse. But anyway, so we go meet up for the drop. And this is the big moment that everybody was mad at Sissy for. And remember, we had to make the first phone call in the little stash basement thing to put the money in an escrow for Franklin, right? Now, this is when we make the second phone call that finalizes and does the transfer. The money gonna be in there. Teddy on the phone. And he's like, yeah, I got the password. But Sissy is like, tell me what prison Alton is in. When I tell y'all, Teddy looked at her like, bitch, is you crazy? Like, I guess you believe that Barney finna pop up in this bitch and we finna sing I love you. Like, Alton dead. I shot that nigga in the head. I cleaned it up. The way, and I feel, so when I tell you, Okay, so let me know if y'all agree or not. I feel like the moment that Teddy did that, it clicked for Sissy. The ease at which this man can lie and manipulate. Think about the other moments in the show of the things Teddy has done. Do you really trust that he finna keep his word right now? The way I was thinking, I felt like that password was suspect. I wanted to know who the hell was on the phone. What was this password? Because, you know, it's like... it's like when you have a security system at your house, right? And you know how the alarm go off and the security company call you and ask you for a password? Now, the way it works, at least the security system I have, when they call you for that password, it's a distress password you can give. But then the person that's telling you on who may have broken in your house and holding you and like, yeah, give them the password so they just leave, they won't know. You just say Peaches. You know, I just so happen to say Peaches used to be my distress word. And it just so happened to be the character. It just popped in my head as soon as I said it. But you could just give a word. They won't know what that word means, but the alarm company is going to be in your profile. That's the distress word. I just did not trust whatever this password was Teddy was finna give. However the hell this was finna play out. And my aunt was telling me she wished they would have wrote the show where Sissy didn't do this so we could have at least seen how Franklin would have ended up if he got the money. I don't think there is any scenario where Franklin would have got that money. That's just me personally. Because look at Teddy has been very on brand with his character. Do you really think it is on brand for Teddy to give Franklin that money? I mean, for me, no. But anyway, the lady is on the phone. Teddy and I said, "Is you stupid bitch? Out and dead. I shot that nigga 2 times, cleaned it up, dumped his body." The password is, and y'all, did y'all see Franklin in the frame salivating? Just, the password is, and Franklin just, and Sissy's standing there, she turned around, she did, pat, pat, pat. And I got satisfaction. I did. He ain't died instantly. And I was shooting back to Sissy, inconsequential, was that the word? Inconsequential nigga speech. I was shooting back to that. And I was just in here like, yeah, nigga, it was her. Like, he just had to sit there down. And when I tell y'all, dancing was acting. Teddy over there down, y'all. Teddy, hold on, ma'am, he hit me. Teddy say the password. Teddy over there down. Teddy say the password. Ma'am, the password. Y'all, I'm sitting like, Franklin, he dead, bro. Like, that shit was blowing my mind. But y'all, the biggest thing that blew my mind was Haven Meyer standing there like, oh damn, that nigga just walked away. Like, he literally was just like, oh damn. And he just turned and just jollied on home. I was like, really? But if you ask me, he didn't care about Teddy. I feel like when it comes to people like this, the KGB guy, Teddy is just a special type of monster. But the KGB guy, even the DEA, well, you know, the DEA guy, I do feel like he really cared about his female agents. But I feel like people in the CIA in these situations, they just have a certain agenda, right? They don't really care about the casualties. I really feel like the same way that Teddy felt like he was using Franklin as a means to an end, I'm not going to say that Haven Meyer, I know I'm probably saying that name wrong. I'm not going to say that Haven Meyer was looking at Teddy in the same light. Obviously he wasn't, because it's racial things over there with Teddy and Franklin. But I think he was looking at it as a means to an end. You're here to do a job. The agenda is the CIA funding this war. Because remember, the whole thing has been, if any dirt touches Teddy, it ain't touching us, right? We really have no real loyalty to Teddy. Oh, baby. My dog just tried to jump on the bed and she fell, child. Oh my God, are you okay? But it's no real fealty. We just focused on the CIA, and we can't let nothing touch this or muddy this up. We got a certain agenda, and that's all it is. Even when Teddy Daddy died, I remember the way he was sitting there in that scene. I just kind of felt like he really looked like he very moved. But y'all, Sissy ended up putting gun down, putting her hands up. She ready to go to jail, child. So Franklin trying to tell her mama we gotta go. She said goodbye, Franklin. And for me, Sissy didn't have a bad fate or bad ending, in my humble opinion. Because, yes, Sissy is finna spend the rest of her life in jail. But she tells Leon she did the only thing she could think to do and still live with herself. I feel like the ending for Sissy is not tragic or bad in any way. Obviously, you don't want, to be in jail. But she did the only thing she could think to do and still live with herself. I feel like that trumps it. That was more important for her. And I do feel like she sacrificed to save Franklin in the only way she could. For one, the CIA don't give a damn about Franklin. Like, as long as ain't no dirt touching them, the CIA agency don't give a damn about Franklin. It's Teddy that give a damn. The CIA, the agency, did not kill Alton. The CIA, the agency, did not kill that Irene-laden reporter. It was Teddy. As long as Teddy was alive, Franklin was gonna be dead. It's not. I just feel like I don't care. It's no way in the world you can tell me that after bubbling up that nigga chest, that Teddy was just gonna walk away and just let Franklin escape. Especially with the God complex that he has over Franklin. When he tells Franklin, I wanted to hurt you so bad because you left me. Because it's like, you need me. How dare... To me, it's like an abusive relationship. You know how an abusive relationship, man, be beating a woman down, act like he don't give a crap about her, but the second she want to leave, he mad? Because it ain't even about wanting you here. It's about how dare you leave me. I'm the one that's gonna be done with you when I'm done with you. But how dare you be done with me? You mean to tell me that with that attitude that he was ever gonna just let Franklin sail off into the sunset? Nigga, he wouldn't let you sail off into the sunset with $50, let alone $37 million. He didn't leave you nothing. That tells you everything right there. I wanted to hurt you so bad because you left. Like, how dare this nigga leave? So I'm fully on board with Sissy. Because like I said, I wanted Sissy to go shoot him in the head before we even left the damn little hideout we was at. Because to me, it was just no way in hell Franklin would ever see that money. So Sissy's story ends up wrapping up where she does not talk to Franklin ever again. And Franklin was fully corrupted. And you know what's something somebody said to me one time? You know how they be saying money is the root of all evil? I think it might have been my mama that said this. I can't remember. But I remember somebody saying it's not. That money only enhances who you are. You were always that person, but now you got money, right? It's just going to enhance. And if you look at the character arc of Franklin, who he was at the start, who he is now, and those core traits, the money just enhanced it. Like, how you go from, remember when Franklin first get arrested, I think it was when Kevin got killed, and Andre was like, I knew you couldn't stay away from your mama. How you go from I knew you couldn't stay away from your mama to your mama being like, you'll never see me again, and you just like, all right, you just shut the deuce. Like, you go from that to this. She knew her son was gone, and that's what she told Leon. This was the only, she did not want Franklin to have that money. And for me, I didn't like that the writers had Leon say something about this blood money, because Wanda got to go do her thing, Leon got to do their thing with the money. Franklin the only person that get the money, right? To me, it's not a sense of it's blood money. It's what the money did to him. For me, if you look at the ending, we ain't got to everybody ending, but if you look at how everything wrapped up for everybody, the people that was more possessed and controlled with the money are the people that it ain't end well for. Louis was ambitious, all about the money. Jerome said, let's just walk away. She was like, not yet. Franklin, all about it did not end well for them. But Leon, who started off thug life like a mug, bleeding in the backyard talking about hide the drugs. Even Scully changed his stuff around, and that annoyed me. I wish we could have seen Scully in the final episode. I'm gonna just presume he just sailed off into the sunset, but I wish we could have seen Scully in the final episode. But I feel like anybody who put the value of money, if you ask me, Franklin would have sold out his mama, V, the baby, Leon. He'd have sold out everybody for that money. Because, okay, so that's how Sissy's story ends. And before I even finish with Franklin, let's jump back and get some small stuff out of the way. Also ends up selling off into the sunset. After he delivers Teddy when Franklin tells Teddy, I'm finna leave, I'll be back in the morning when the bank's open, he flies Oso on his private plane, takes him out. Also get to sail off into the sunset. We see that he has this gym. He's working with kids. You know, Oso love the kids, child. Trent love the kids. And remember, he gave his girl that answering service to call. And eventually, over time, he gets a message from her on the answering service that her and the kids and her mama settled in North Carolina. They got to sell off. They perfectly fine. And Wanda ended up going back to Ghana. And this scene kind of annoyed me because she was like, Leon, you ain't even going to say no or try to fight for me to stay or come with me. Damn. No, but Wanda got to go off. She in Ghana. And when we get the time jump at the very end, Leon tells us that she's still doing well and she's actually doing music or trying to be in a music business or something like that. So their stories wrap up well. But I wish we could have seen Scully. And yo, what happened to the beef with D and Leon? Did D just let that go? Because last time we saw him, he went to Jerome to help him with the beef. And then we saw him at Jerome's funeral. But did that beef just dissipate? Like, what happened to that? And yo, did Einstein go to college or nah? Cause we saw Einstein when Leon was talking to him about, we ain't got to connect no more. So those are just some little stories that I wish we could have wrapped up. Am I forgetting somebody outside of Franklin? Leon ended up just fine. He actually he went back to Africa, came back from Africa. Franklin was like, I'm gonna call you Yo-Yo. And he ended up getting this, what was it called? I think it's somewhere in my notes. He ended up setting up like a legal thing to help people. Because remember, he was talking about the little law, whatever they passed, how it was going to be bad for black folk. And he said it was worse than we thought. And the public defenders is backed up. So he gets to sell off into the sunset. And I already talked about Louis ending. She got like an open-ended ending, which I kind of feel like Franklin has an open-ended ending as well. She just on the run. She just hiding out in the barn, and the DA looking for her. I feel like, am I missing anybody? I think that's everybody ending outside of Franklin and V. But I will say, speaking of endings, before I get to Franklin and V, I am annoyed with them including Teddy's girlfriend, right? I understand the point that she played as far as in correlation to Teddy's character. However, we should not need that much screen time. Because in the end, she just walks in with Haven Meyer talking about, where's Teddy? Teddy's gone. What was the purpose? Like, she really served no real point for her to get as much screen time as she got. Like, y'all could have gone on with that girl. Like, it was kind of pointless. Like, and I just kept feeling like, I know she about to pop in at the end. Because they've been showing her a lot. Usually, that's how a story flows. If you are showing us a lot of something, it's going to come back around. But no, it just never did. I don't know why the hell she was here. But anyway, let's get on to the big pie in the sky. What does pie in the sky mean? I feel like I heard that. I feel like it means big finale. Franklin and V. Now, after everything happens at the meet and his mama kills Teddy, we end up seeing Franklin at this bar. And he was completely disheveled. He got on the phone with V. She effed us, V. Why would she do that? Y'all, Dancing was acting. I don't know if Denzel still don't know your name, baby, but now I do. Because when that whole video came out with Denzel, I wasn't watching Snowfall at the time. I binged the whole 5 seasons right before the 6th season started. And they was asking Denzel, and I'm saying, like, well, shoot, I don't know who the little nigga is either. But I know he is now, baby. Because this little kid be acting. But anyway, he gets to the bar, and long story short, they end up having him sitting at the bar, and the bartender just like this on the house. And I could not recall, but I was like, wait a minute, I thought Franklin don't drink. Because I could have sworn when he worked at that little corner store, what was old girl who stayed next door to him, y'all? What was her name? What was that girl name that stayed next door to him? Because I could have sworn he used to be getting his friends alcohol when he worked at that little corner store. And I could have sworn, if memory serves me, that she had a conversation with him about why he don't drink. And I could have sworn he said something about Melody. Melody is her name. I could have sworn they had a conversation about how he liked to be in control or whatever. But anyway, I was saying, like, I could have sworn you don't drink, bro. Y'all, the dramatics of Franklin taking it. They showed, and y'all, the difference of them lips here and at the end, but we'll get to it. But the way he was, it reminded me of Chris Rock as Spooky with that crack pipe. Like the way the dramatics when he took to take that shot was so crazy. And he ain't really, you could tell he ain't a drinker. Because baby, you don't take the shot glass and like sip it. You supposed to throw it back. He was in there sipping the shot glass. But anyway, so he's just sitting at the bar and time is passing because we see the bar is kind of empty, and I want to say it was probably because it was daytime, and then as hours passed and we got later to evening, the bar got full. And he's just sitting there the whole time. So he ends up getting a page. Franklin gets a page. And he goes to the phone. And it's Haven. Y'all, am I saying this? I know I'm saying. Have Meyer. Y'all, the white CIA man who was over Teddy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Even if I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, he on the phone with Franklin talking about unless you want to spend the rest of your life in jail. You'll bring the asset. And see, this is what I mean about also why I feel like Teddy ain't mean nothing. Do y'all see how they talk about people? The asset. You mean Ruben? You mean the human being? The guy? Bring the asset. Like the way they talk. I don't know. Anyway, so he tells Franklin, go to this address. It's like a dead end alley something. Drop off the asset. Leave. Repeat the address back to me. So Franklin ends up getting back and V is there, and y'all, look, I can't say I really care nothing about Ruben, but this was so, y'all, I don't know, this was kind of, we gonna get to Franklin being evil. This, you know what, this ain't even evil yet, but anyway, we go get Ruben, and of course he's pleading, but the real, like, haunting scene for me, Franklin knocks Ruben out, puts him in the trunk. As he's driving, we hear Ruben back there kicking around the trunk. And I was wondering how far away we were from the drop. Because remember, old boy who, you know, raped that boy was in the trunk and was able to get the hell out. So I was like, hold on, how far are we? Because he might get out this trunk. But no, he don't get out. Y'all, Franklin takes Ruben to this drop. And he's like, Franklin, please. They're going to put me through hell. Franklin, please. You hear him pleading for his life. And as Franklin drive off, you see 3 men yoke Ruben up. Y'all, that was so eerie and haunting of an image to me to have this man, please, Franklin, no, please. And these 3 men yoke him. Do you know, I would be peeing myself. Speaking of peeing myself, did y'all peep in the scene? I'm not following my notes, so I'm probably like randomly thinking of stuff and jumping around. But anyway, did y'all notice in the scene when we was frying chicken on Teddy's chest, he peed himself. He had a wet spot going down his leg. I feel like he peed himself. But anyway, so Franklin ends up, you know, dropping it off and leaving. But this is also why I say Sissy did the right thing. The CIA don't give a damn about Franklin. They don't even give a damn enough to kill you, nigga. They just wanted what they wanted. They didn't, you were just a mean, like I said, means to an end. They did not care about him. The only threat or danger to Franklin and his family was Teddy. Not the whole agency of the CIA. Not even damn Havenmeyer. He don't give a damn. He ain't out to get revenge for his friend Teddy, his colleague Teddy. He don't give a damn about Teddy. But anyway, let me check and make sure. Check my notes, make sure I ain't miss nothing before I hop up and finish V and Franklin's story. But I just feel like no matter what, everything Teddy says is a performance. Teddy is just a liar, yo. Like, you cannot trust nothing Teddy says. I don't give a damn what it is. Teddy is it's something, there are certain liars that I be saying, like, you know how they say you're a habitual liar? Teddy is the type of liar that will lie about the color of his shirt. Like, lie for unnecessary reasons is what that means. Like, lie when there isn't even a need or reason or point to lie. He just lied to lie. Everything about Teddy is just a lie. So I really feel like it went nowhere. Oh, I've had my fill of you and me. Nah. He would have had his fill when he, you know, filled your body in the damn dirt. That's when he would have had his fill. So, okay. Yeah. Look like I covered everybody. So we finna finish up Franklin and V story. So Franklin ends up going to Leon. And And this is why I say Franklin would have sold out everybody he could have sold out for this money. He pretty much goes to pull a Teddy on Leon. The same bull that Teddy kind of pulled on Franklin, he go to try to pull on Leon. He gonna ask Leon. First, Leon started talking about the mama in jail and she don't want to talk to the lawyer. Child, Franklin just like, yeah, we can't help her right now. Look, anyway, nigga. He like, yo, I'm in a bad spot. I need, to borrow money more than that $500,000. So let me get this straight. You already owe me $500,000. And now you come to borrow more money, right? So Franklin ends up asking him, how much, you got left? Leon say, I got almost $3 million. Oh, thank Jesus. That's what I'm talking about, nigga. This is Franklin. Yo, look, I'm gonna need that whole $3 million. Y'all, you mean to tell me that I just told you that everything I got is almost $3 million and you want me to give you everything I got? Plus, I no longer have a connect. He walks in as Leon having a conversation with Einstein and them saying we ain't got to connect no more. So you mean to tell me I'm down bad? I may not be broke, but I'm down bad because I ain't got no income that's going to come in. And you want me to give you every single thing I got. You give me that $3 million and I'm going to give you a stake in the downtown property. You should already been a part of that. And I'm sitting here like, so Leon is like, so why you think Sissy did that? Now, Leon ends up saying, Sissy ain't want you to have that money, and I'm not going to go against what she wanted by giving you anything. Now, let me tell you how low down Franklin is. He ain't just low down for pulling a gun on his oldest friend. When I tell you, even without that $70 million, Franklin could have sailed off into the sunset and been just fine. Franklin got a private plane. The same way you got to put gas in your car, you got to gas up the plane. Do you know how expensive that is? Franklin still gassing up that plane. He done flew also. Franklin had a watch on. And I know the issue's real. Franklin had a whole house that was paid for. Franklin had $800,000 in the bank. Which we gonna get to that. In the late 80s, early 90s, that is a very nice upper middle class life you could have lived with your son and V. But Franklin wanted millions. Franklin did not want to let go of the downtown property. You mean to tell me you willing to pull a gun on your oldest friend, but you're not willing to sell the downtown property? I feel like Franklin was so obsessed with wanting a piece of what white people got. When he go to had a conversation with his mama about what you think Rockefeller did, what you think all these people did. He was so gung-ho about that downtown property. He sold all the properties in a black neighborhood to that racist slumlord that his mama used to work for. You mean to tell me, if that ain't selling out, I don't know what is. Franklin would have been just fine. He could have sold the downtown property. Because that, what was that guy? Was he a councilman or something? The councilman him and his mama first met with time ago comes about buying the downtown property. You could have got money from that downtown property selling that. The properties in a black neighborhood, you could have sold those, not to the slumlord, but you could have sold those. You had $800,000 in the bank. You had that plane you could have sold. You had a watch on your wrist that you could have sold. Franklin would have been just fine. But that wasn't enough. You got to come to Leon talking about I need the whole almost $3 million. Wow, Franklin would have been just fine. He could have raised his son in his mama house that was paid for. He'd have been just fine. Franklin literally had enough money to be just fine. So he go pull the gun on Leon, and of course Leon dudes, come behind him. And Franklin had the nerve to be like, nigga, this how you want this to end? And I'm still like, no, Franklin, is this how you want this to end? Because you the one pulling the gun on me. Like if I'm Leon. So, hold on, y'all. Let's pause this for a quick intermission. Okay. Sorry. We back. Okay, what was I at? Oh, Franklin rolling up on Leon with the damn gun, child. So we end up, hold on, can y'all see this? I want y'all to see this. Let me turn this. Can y'all see this crazy? Do y'all see? What is that? Can y'all see? Okay, I just had to do that real quick because she looked crazy. I don't know what that is, child. But anyway, let me see. Finna look down at my notes. Make sure I don't forget nothing. Anyway, so now the whole thing that happens after the Leon situation is Franklin ends up going to see his mama. Now, Franklin first wait, I feel like I did something weird. What did I do? I changed this somehow. Trying to look at the damn dog. Now I feel like my angle look weird. Franklin first go and see Sissy at her arraignment. And when I tell you, I was kind of sitting here like scared. My first thought was, you're a drug dealer. Well, you know, retired, but still. And you were there when old boy was murdered. I kind of felt paranoid. Like, I don't want to be nowhere near a police station, a courthouse. I don't want all these cops around me. I felt real like, Franklin, why you here, nigga? But anyway, Franklin goes to the arraignment where Sissy is at. And then he goes to visit her in jail. And she don't say nothing to him. Now, after the whole Leon situation, he goes to see her in jail again, asking her about signing some papers so he could sell the house. Give me some indication that you gonna do this for me, mama. Y'all, she don't say nothing again. And when I tell y'all, I was so taken aback when Franklin hit her with the "fuck you, bitch. Daddy, shut up, blow your head off." I was like, that's your mama. Like, Teddy should have blew your head off. Yo, what kind of mother are you? I just could not believe it. But yo, he could have had a perfectly fine life. He could have sailed off into the sunset. So Franklin go to the bank, right? And the way, I think it was either the 9th or 10th episode, before he gets, with Teddy, he got Teddy tied up, but before he go into that whole thing, V tell him we bounced our first check on a downtown property. We can't afford to lose that one. Y'all, they been so obsessed and gung-ho about this damn Spring Street downtown. F that property, man. Anyway, so Franklin go to the bank. He trying to move stuff around and do stuff or whatever. And the guy at the bank is like, oh, that must be what V was in here for earlier. But he didn't say V. He said, however you pronounce your name, Verneet, whatever, something like that. Verneet. I just like to say V because I feel like I be saying it wrong. Yo, Franklin was sitting there shook. And I like the way they filmed this scene where it looked like the bank was empty. It looked like the guy wasn't even sitting at his desk. You just saw Franklin sitting there just. Let me tell you. Franklin a duck. Franklin an idiot. Franklin ain't learned no lessons. First of all, not to have all your money in one spot. Second of all, you ain't even married to this girl. Why the hell she got access to the accounts like that, bruh? Like, she got access to the accounts to be able to go in there and clean this nigga out. Clean them out. Because when Franklin is at his mom's house, remember I was talking about he could have sold the downtown property to that councilman guy? The councilman come up to him like, yo, I came to talk details about, you selling. Come to find out, V did that. And Franklin got mad. Let me tell you what was so stupid to me. Franklin gonna tell V, you showing weakness by going to our competitors about selling. So your office being closed down, your mama being in jail for murder, ain't none of that showing weakness. But V trying to see how much y'all can sell the property for, that showing weakness, Franklin, for real? Because as soon as the councilman walk in there, he like, well, shoot, nigga, your office closed, so I had to come to your mama house. That's not weakness. But I will say, I liked V a lot better towards the end. Like I said, first of all, the scene when she come there telling the story about her mama with Teddy, great scene. And then this scene, Franklin yoke her up. And he was like, I asked for loyalty. What I asked you for? And she don't go down. When I tell you, V, say, get your fucking hands off me. I was like, okay, girl. I ain't never really liked V. I won't say I dislike her, but I didn't like her. I didn't like her. I didn't dislike her. She was just kind of, I always felt like I didn't trust her, but as a character and an actress, I don't know. She just had no pizzazz for me. But I loved her in this. Get your hands off me. Get your fucking hands off me. I love that. Let me tell you, men, don't put your hands on a woman like this. Don't put your hands on women, period. But you know what I'm saying. Yo, V cleaned this nigga out. V got about 800K. Yo, how much y'all making a year? Everybody. You mean to tell me you couldn't sell off into the sunset with 800K? This is why I don't feel sorry for Franklin, and this is why I'm not on board with being mad at Sissy for killing Teddy like everybody else is, killing him before the password. Franklin would have been just fine. 800K. That's a nice life. And I want to say that's higher than upper middle class back in the late 80s, early 90s. Cost of living back then, 800K. And shoot, we can go to another country with even a lower cost of living. We would have been good. Franklin would have been just fine without that 73K. 73 million, sorry, not K. He would have been just fine. V walked out of that bank with 800, but Franklin was so gung-ho on wanting himself to be in a certain position. In my opinion, wanting to be at the table with the white folk. He wanted to have that downtown property, the private plane. He wanted a certain status. And anything lower than that status, even if it was still a high status, wasn't good enough for Franklin. It was greed. Most of all, though, it was pride. You know what Franklin loved to say? One of my favorite scenes, though, I built this shit bit by bit. He loved it. When he was in there talking to V, I built, because she said this is her downfall. You sunk us. Bitch, I built this. So if I want to sink it, that's what I do. I built this shit brick by brick. Like, he loves to tell you he built some shit. And you know what it reminds me of? Scarface is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is like such a Greek tragedy. And there is like a moral to the end of that. I ain't gonna get all into Scarface, obviously. We talking about Snowfall. But I feel like we get one of the same morals at the end of Snowfall. Do y'all remember the scene in Scarface, if you've ever seen a movie, where Scarface is in his bathroom and he talking to his wife and he talking about I work hard for this, remember that. And she said, well, you know what? Somebody should have gave it to you. You would have been a nicer person. That's how I feel with Franklin. I built this shit. Y'all wouldn't have none of this if it wasn't for me. I gave y'all. But you know what? I don't agree with the whole Leon, Jerome, Louis wouldn't have had nothing without Franklin. Franklin wouldn't have had nothing without them. Franklin needed them to start this just as much as they needed him. He would have never moved that first brick without Louis. Point blank, period. He would not have got in the game, moving that first brick, having the connection to the lady at the club who he was selling to if it wasn't for Louis. Then he brought on Kevin, Leon, Jerome. He needed other people. He could have just been slinging that ish and cooking that ish all by himself. He needed them to build this just as much as they needed him to get the stuff they had. So I don't even agree with the whole, y'all wouldn't have this if it wasn't for me. We wouldn't have this if it wasn't for all of us, period. Because you needed all us. And that's why, even though I couldn't stand Louis at the end and she really effed up royally, he needed Louis more than once. He needed her to move that first brick. And that moment when she was out the game and he was begging her to come back. So don't be throwing in my face how we needed you and we wouldn't have this without you, nigga. Because I'm about to tell you about yourself. Because you needed us too. But V ends up cleaning them out, getting the 800K. I'm very curious if she went to her mama or not. And I'm also wondering, was V going to jump ship without the money, point blank, period? Do y'all think V was going to jump ship without that 70 million, no matter what? Or did she jump ship because of Franklin selling out? Because she did seem to have a real visceral reaction to him selling those properties in a black neighborhood to that slumlord and putting his hands on her. So I am kind of conflicted on, even though I didn't trust V as far as I could throw her, I am conflicted on, was she just always going to jump ship without that 73 million? Or was it a catalyst of his moves that got her out of there? Because he been unhinged to me. But maybe now it was finally unhinged to her, putting his hands on her, the way he reacted to her. Like, all she did was call the man to see how much he was selling for, which was the right move. Franklin should have sold those downtown properties and sailed off into the sunset. Y'all, and I mean, do you know, you rather pull a gun on your oldest and most loyal friend. Nigga was in the back. I can't get over Leon in the backyard bleeding halfway dead talking about hide the drugs. I got the wherewithal to be trying to cover us and say hide the drugs. When I'm down here, I could be dying. You mean to tell me you gonna pull a gun on Leon before you will sell that dumbass property? But I'm supposed to feel sorry because Franklin turned into a baser? Franklin turned into a baser because his own free will and volition. Because he had money. $800K. Sell the private plane. Sell that watch on your arm, nigga. You know what I could have did with that money? I'd have been good with $800K. Bruh, give me half of that $800K. V, you take half, I get up half. Like, that was a really good upper middle class. That's high. I really feel like that might be higher than upper class. In the late 80s, early 90s. I want to say, if you live modestly, you can live off $800K for the rest of your life. Raising his son. If you live modest and still a nice life. Like, it may not be a penthouse. It may not be a private plane. It may not be private school. But it would still be a good, comfortable life. And if you smart enough to hustle in this game, you could have took that $800K and hustled in a legit game. And like I said, still had a nice life. So, man, I ain't giving Sissy no kind of hate or nothing for shooting Teddy before that password. Because Franklin would have been just fine. But Franklin unraveled. He unraveled fast. So, we end up hearing, it was one of the time jumps. I think it was when Leon came back at the very end to talk to Franklin that V did reach out to him and she raising his son and raising him right so he won't be a scammer or a drug dealer child. I will say I would have liked, it was a long season finale. It didn't feel long to me though. I was very into everything. I guess maybe they couldn't have made it longer, but I would have liked to see Franklin's son. Because the way Franklin ends up is very reminiscent of how we saw Alton when the show first started and the contentious relationship he had with Alton. Now he an absentee drunk father. So I would have liked to see his son and get a glimpse of that dynamic. But when I tell y'all, Franklin's teeth went bad fast. Like, God dang, do your teeth really rot that fast? His teeth went to shambles real quick. But anyway, Franklin, at the end, living in his mama house, he just a base head. And I get when Franklin says he may not be free in the way Leon or anybody else wanted, but he free in his own way. I can take that freedom a lot better if you not a slave to that bottle. Like, if he would have just took the $800K and went and lived a modest life and then gave us a speech about I'm free from it all, I don't know. I feel like that would have hit more for me. But you're not free, bruh. If you're an addict, you're never free because you're not free of whatever you're addicted to. But he ends up getting his house taken for not paying taxes. And I'm pretty sure this is a house in a predominantly black neighborhood, so you know how that go as far as property value. So I'm sure it wasn't a crazy amount of property taxes, you know, like an astronomical number. And Leon offers to pay it, but Franklin's just like, nah, I just be homeless, bro. Don't worry about that. Let him take it. But Franklin, in an alternate universe, if Sissy did not shoot Teddy, and Teddy, if Sissy didn't shoot Teddy, Teddy still won't give him that money. Instead of Teddy was still gonna kill him. But in an alternate universe, if Sissy didn't shoot Teddy, and Teddy was actually gonna keep his word, and Franklin got to get his $37 million, Franklin still would have had a downfall, if you ask me. Scarface had a downfall with all his riches, because the issue of Franklin's downfall was not the lack of that $73 million. Point blank period. It wasn't. That was not the catalyst to his downfall. Now, that was the catalyst to his downward spiral from his reaction to losing that money. But not having that money, that was not the cause of Franklin's downfall. It wasn't. It wasn't. Because Franklin did not have $0. And I didn't really give Franklin too much when he stole from his uncle and Louis. But when we got to the finale and I started adding up all that money Franklin had, all them properties, that private plane, that $800K, you ain't have to rob your own family. Like, but Franklin wanted millions. But he didn't have to rob them. Franklin had money, child. Franklin had money. Let me see what y'all were talking about. But y'all, Danson was acting his ass off. And boy, when I tell you, he played the hell out of that basin. I don't know who was better as an addict, Wanda or Danson. But y'all, basins can't carry chapstick. Them lips was disgusting. Hey, Nicole. Hey, King Nikki. I've been obsessed with talking about Snowfall since the Natalie. Yeah, I've been talking about it with my aunt and stuff. It's y'all. Snowfall. I don't understand why Snowfall does not get the recognition, the awards. To me, it's up there with like Breaking Bad and all those shows like that. Like this, for me, Snowfall has some of the best characters, like well written, and you get a full scope of these characters. Like even characters that are quote unquote bad guy. The only character I like just don't like is Teddy, but we're not supposed to like him. But even somebody like Man Boy, like I enjoyed his character being on the show. Like it just was such an ensemble of just amazing characters and just so well written. Now we had, some not so well written moments, whatever. I didn't really care for everybody getting drugged at Louis them wedding. That episode was kind of for me. But anyway, overall, I don't know why this show doesn't get the awards and the recognition. Oh, definitely, and especially when he was in the car, not to jump ahead. Oh, dang, I wish I knew what you was talking about. When he was in the car, Sissy was witnessing in real time the deterioration of her son about to cross the line. Child, when I tell you, about to cross the line, and I didn't even mention poor, what was that man name? What was the poor service worker name? When I tell you Franklin was having a spiral, when Franklin was talking to that detective from a previous season that was working with Irene, and he go, Uncle Tom ass nigga, pull out your gun. The way Franklin was just not giving up, and the way he was talking at the end, like it was blowing my mind. But what was, I don't know the name. Damn it, I don't know. But Sissy was witnessing in real time the deterioration of her son. I don't know the service worker name. But when Franklin goes to meet up with Top Notch because he wants Top Notch to find V, and I felt like he was about to kill Top Notch. I was like, hold on, bad back, Franklin. Because Top Notch was like, I'm done looking for that girl. But he said, I got something else for you. He finds Peaches. Now, personally, like I said, I would have liked to see Scully in the finale to just see how he ended up years later or whatever. I would have liked to even know if Einstein went to college or not. But I would have preferred, love the scene, love where it went. But just me and how much I like the character, I would have preferred not seeing Peaches. I would have preferred just thinking in my mind that when Peaches saw Franklin shoot White Boy, and that caused Peaches to steal that money, go off, get clean. In my head, all this time later, I thought Peaches sailed off into the sunset. I thought he was able to steal that money, get clean, and he was living a good life. Y'all, Teddy was just a few up the damn road. He was still in the same damn city, and he was living like he was a crackhead. And I ain't like to see him like that. I like Peaches. I did not like seeing him like this. But Franklin ends up going to Peaches, ends up killing him because, Peaches pulls a gun on him and Franklin is able to get him first. Y'all, this was like a Western. You know how they be drawing their gun? You got to see who can shoot somebody first. That's how that scene was. But Franklin ends up trying to get into the safe. He gets his post-service worker. I can't think of his name. And Franklin asks his whole first, last name, everything. And I can't remember. I know it's in my notes somewhere, but I got a lot of notes. I don't feel like searching for it right now. But I felt so bad. First of all, though, Franklin was... It's a lot of stuff Franklin was doing out. Why is y'all giving Sissy such hell when Franklin was making dumbass decisions? You mean to tell me you don't search the damn house? You don't secure the house, bruh? Franklin got the post-service worker in there trying to get into the safe. He think, Franklin a homeowner, this is his safe. All of a sudden, little Besa walk in there. What if it's Peaches? I'm just sitting here like, oh, goddamn. Oh, goddamn. And I was just like, please don't kill this post-service worker. And that has always wrecked with my mind is how people do those jobs where you have to walk into a people's house. Ain't no way in the hell I could do that. I ain't walking up in people's house, man. That is so scary to me. So Franklin ends up pulling a gun, shooting a crackhead. When I tell y'all I threw my ass out that window, I would have thrown I'm talking about my whole body. I would have just flung and broke through the window. I don't care. I could pull a little glass out my shoulder. I would have jumped out the window. You could survive just a second story. Maybe it's a tree down there. I don't know. But I would have jumped out the damn window. Okay. Now, Franklin comes in. He tell the man, open the safe and I'll let you go. And I was believing Franklin. The man was like, I got 3 kids. I ain't gonna say nothing. I don't know if he really got 3 kids because he could have just been trying to get himself out of there. But that post-service worker did not deserve to die like that, man. That hurt my heart. That hurt my heart. So he opens the safe. And I just kept being like, I bet ain't nothing in that safe. Baby, this is a basin. So he opens the safe. And I thought it was like a few $100s. You saw little bills in there. He asked the guy to count it. Now, my reaction to count it would have been, I thought you said if I opened the safe, I could go. You ain't say nothing about count, nigga. It's open. You said I could go. And I'm just like, why he got to count it, Franklin? Just let him go, man. It was $12,000. Now, y'all, please help my memory. Was that first brick, did Franklin get $10,000 or $12,000? Now, Franklin ends up shooting and killing the man. He tell him to leave. And when I tell you, I was sitting here like, run, nigga. Like, he walking out. I would have ran. And I would have been zigzagging. So you can't get a straight shot. Like, I would have been running in a zag. But yes, he was deteriorating fast. Let me see. This is how I know he was not giving Franklin a dime. He's a liar. Girl, Teddy was never going to give Franklin that money. Period. I don't know who needs to be convinced. Like, he was never giving Franklin that money. Point blank, period. He wasn't. Hey, Olivia, daughter, your reviews are so good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Olivia. I'm over here in tears crying. How do I, you know what? When I be watching people live video, they be putting a little comment on the screen. How do I do that? I don't even have a clue, child. I ain't been on live in so long. And even when I was on live, I don't even know how the hell. Let's see. Nope, that ain't how you do it. I just pinned the message to the top of the chat. I don't know how they do it, Chad. Somebody tell me how to put the comments on the screen. But anyway. The audacity, Nicole. The audacity. I know you talking about Teddy when you say that. She was going to be next. Who was going to be next? I really feel like Franklin pulling a gun. First of all, we done seen Franklin desperate when he pulled the gun on Louis. Well, I ain't feel bad for Louis because, she did that ish. But pulling a gun on I really feel like Franklin would have sold out his mama. He would have sold out V. And I don't give a damn about Alton. Hold on, bro. That's your daddy, Franklin. And if memory serves me, at the point Alton died, they did not have a contentious relationship like how it started. Yes, Franklin was trying to tell Alton to shut the hell up, running his mouth by the CIA. But remember, he goes to try and rush to get out to that meet so that Teddy don't kill Alton. And then Alton goes off to Cuba and then he disappears. Y'all didn't end on like having a terrible relationship. So I'm sitting like, damn, I don't give a damn about Alton. Man, Alton should be turning in his grave like a little nigga. I just could not believe that. I call him Homer the way he slid off to the background after Teddy went down. I'm talking about Happy Meyer was like, oh, damn. And he just literally, like you said, disappeared. Like, it's the meme with Homer Simpson going into the bushes. Like, he was out of there, child. I just could not believe it. CIA was done with Teddy. They wanted the money too. Oh, yeah. And then that's also why I wasn't really buying nothing, because Teddy was supposed to give the 73 million to the CIA. Remember, he was like, I got I got these funds, these assets, whatever. And then him and what is that girl name? I do not know how to pronounce his girlfriend name. It's P something. But anyway, they have a conversation, and then he decides he gonna run off with her. But that wasn't like an arrangement with the CIA. I could have sworn the CIA was supposed to be getting them seized funds. What was a full circle moment, Nicole? Her lady lover said she was too ambitious in the first season. Oh, I know you're talking about Louis. I know, that's why I'm sitting here like, Louis been pissing me off so bad. I don't, now that's one thing I don't like. I really have no problem with anybody's story arc except Jerome and Louis. Jerome most of all. Because I just do not see the Jerome that I fell in love. Jerome and Leon has always been my favorite. I don't see Jerome beating an unarmed woman to death in front of them damn white ass racist ass cops. Just the turn he took, and he was getting on my last nerve. What's up, bitch ass nigga? Like I was just like, you want to save your wife or not? What's up, bitch ass nigga? Like he was getting, Jerome was getting on my nerve. I was so sick of him saying bitch ass nigga. The attitude and the way he treated Leon. When he came back from Africa, it was so uncalled for. Leon ain't got nothing to do with what the hell y'all over here doing, nigga. I was in Ghana. It was just, I just did not like where we took Jerome's character. And I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't. For me, where we took Louis' character, I couldn't stand it, but it makes sense for her character. Because she always had them big eyes of ambition and all that stuff. And I could see her doing everything she did. Remember, she went behind Jerome in the first place to help Franklin move that first brick. He didn't want her to do that. She snuck out, knocked on the little nigga window. Now, it makes sense for her. The arc ain't make sense for me when it came to Jerome. And then that's something else with Louis. You ain't, what are you doing? You ain't got money buried, stashed nowhere. You couldn't even get down to, what was her friends at, y'all? Louisiana or whatever. You couldn't get down there. You out here hiding in the barn like a runaway slave. He better not go visit old girl. If the DA is still looking for Louis, you know they're looking for Oso. Oh, 100%. 100%. And I honestly, I'm fine with his girlfriend leaving a message saying we safe, we good. I did not like her saying the location. I ain't like that. I don't know if this is secure line. I don't care what Oso told me. We good, we alive. Click. That's all. I hope you are too. Click. That's all I want to say. I'm not giving no location. But maybe I'm paranoid. I'm not giving no location. 100%. Did the girlfriend do any crimes? No. But they gonna use you to get to Oso. So I don't want no. 100%. Especially when another one of his female agents was killed. Yeah, he want Oso. He want Oso. Moisturized lips versus. I think she left after seeing he was gone. Okay, you talking about V. Yeah, because I really feel like it's perfectly fine. I hate when people be saying, struggling with people. I don't need to struggle with you. I don't need to be there with you, Poe. It's perfectly fine to want a certain lifestyle. She got with Franklin when he had a certain lifestyle and a certain status. Fine. Now, do I think she was only with him for that and ain't cared no damn about Franklin? No, I don't believe that. I don't think she was just like using him and ain't give a damn. I don't. I did not trust her at all because I just feel like I'm never gonna trust a scammer. And especially the way her mama played Ted and Daddy. Her mama was good. I'm like, I see how y'all was gaming niggas. The mama good. She pretty. She charming. She was good as hell. But I just never trusted V because I'm not going to trust somebody who, deceive and do stuff like that. Why am I different? But I do not think, even though my initial thought was she was planning to just, get money and run and scam him. That was my initial thought. I don't think that was that girl game plan. I don't. I also feel like she saw that he was really gone. He put his hands. I'm talking about he yoked her. He did the slow choke. You know how like somebody choke you and it start getting tighter. It don't start tight, but it start getting tight. She was like, "Oh hell no!" And then you gonna choke me with a damn baby in me? Your baby is a man. The baby got my same air supply, bro. If you cut off my air supply, you cutting off the baby air supply. Hey KD, hi. Never seen this show, but just wanted to say hi to the live chat. Hey KD. Miguel, that was the server. Y'all, pour one out for Miguel. That was now when I see stuff like this, I may like a certain character. Like I hated Jerome getting killed, but it's never really heartbreaking to me because you in this game. Even when it came to Scully's daughter getting killed, obviously the little girl is innocent, but when Scully and his baby mama was mad, your child is dead because of your life decisions. You chose to be in this game. So when it comes to that, yeah, and not even with just the baby. Obviously, baby is innocent. But when people get killed, when I watch shows like this, it's part of what you signed up for. But it'd be heartbreaking for me when innocent random people get killed. Miguel ain't have nothing to do with nothing. Miguel was just living a 9-to-5 regular old civilian life. And he did not deserve to go out like that. Shot in the damn back. And I was confused. Like, why is you asking this man first and last name? Now, when Franklin told him to pick up the money and count it, I thought he wanted it to look like Miguel came in there trying to get the money out the safe or something. Because I was like, what is you doing? Why is you asking his first and last name? That hurt my heart. They did not have to do him like that. Child, I'd have been zigging and zagging. Because it ain't like he a sharpshooter, so I'm finna be giving you like a moving target. I ain't finna make it easy for you. And even with the whole thing about the way Franklin was doing folk, he promised also that Teddy would not live to be able to come after him and his family. But you was finna let him live. Child, put me in the Snowfall universe because I would have Teddy up. F that money. I would have just wanted to tear him up. No, the money was never Teddy's either. And it also annoyed me when Teddy was trying to use the excuse of, we got to keep the country safe. First of all, bruh, you was making money from the deals just like I was. More of it. So if I made 70 or 73 million, I know you made about 4-5 times that. You wanted to go fund your war, but you needed my pocket change to keep America safe. Get the fuck out of here. I feel like Jerome never wanted that life. He actually hated it. That's his final. I definitely feel like Jerome was personally. I personally feel like Jerome was perfectly happy selling his weed, hanging out on the roof of his house, throwing his little parties. Jerome was happy. And I feel like even when it got to the point of Jerome getting his little, what was it, a speaker business, he'd have been happy. And I feel like he had, I don't know if it was jealousy, but remember when he goes to see an old friend that used to be in the game and he had the little automotive shop? I feel like he was a little like jealous of that in a way. And I don't even know if it's strong enough to be jealousy, but he wanted to just do his speaker shop. Like, I feel like everybody is different. Not everybody wants that big flash life that Franklin wanted. Some people are happy just getting a little bit and just living a nice little life. I always say I just want to live a nice boring life. Boring. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be like insanely rich. I just want a nice, like, some people are fine with that. And I feel like Jerome was that person that was fine with it. I feel like Teddy got off on this lifestyle. He got off on doing this stuff. And as well as Franklin, but in a different way. Franklin got off on the status and the money. Like, he was so happy to have his plane and be able to do this stuff. Remember the way he would act and the stuff he would say when he was dealing with, who was my guy that the KGB Ruben killed? What was his name, y'all? The guy who started off real crazy when Franklin first was selling his bricks. Dang it, I can't think of his name. Javi. When he was looking at them and all the status, he was really looking up to Teddy when, he ain't really know Teddy was CIA. Jerome did it for Louis. That's why he was like, I'm out heading to Jamaica. I wish he would have just got out and went the hell to Jamaica. When I said, let's go, and Louis was like, I need more time. Okay, great. Meet me in Jamaica. Like, I would have just left. But I guess not, because he really loved that girl. V loved Franklin, but she saw the writing on the wall after he reminded her he built the ish and then yoked her up. And that's something else. Even if Franklin got the 73 million, because remember he was out the game and him and V went off, it would have still been issues, because Franklin is the type of man that's going to always remind you, this my shit. I built this. Because he does it. He always loved to say, I built this shit brick by brick. So the same way he was throwing it in her face just now about, well, I built it, I tear it down. He would have always been throwing it in V's face. Always would have. Probably would have threw it in the child's face too. Dad, I need cereal. I built this shit, nigga. Oh, yes, he wanted the simplicity, not all the bells and whistles. 100%, Jerome. Plus, his family was falling apart. No nephew, barely speaking to your sis. Oh, yes, 100%, 100%. The whole family feud did not hurt Louis the way it hurt Jerome. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. Okay. How long I've been on here, child? I feel like I've been on here for quite a while. Do we have any, let me check my notes. Any final notes and final thoughts on the finale and final season of Snowfall? But I also say it's an open-ended ending, because Franklin young as hell. Franklin not even 30 years old. Is Franklin even in his mid-20s? He got to be like 25, 26 maybe. Like, Franklin could clean up. Wanda cleaned up. Alton cleaned up. So I do feel like it's an open-ended ending. Franklin could get clean. He got a whole lot of life left. He is very young. And he's smart. He could still go find a way to hustle and, you know, have an income and everything like that. So for me personally, I don't find it to be a very tragic ending. I think it's a very fitting ending for everybody. And I'm happy that they did not go the dead or in jail route with Franklin. But I feel like it's not a depressive end for the Franklin Saint character. Even though, I mean, look at the stuff he did. Did we really think he was going to have a happy ending? Or want him to have a happy ending? He killed Miguel. He killed innocent people. But it's not a tragic end, because he younger. The nigga ain't even 30 years old. What was the time jump? Because remember when he first started this to now, he got to be 25, 26, y'all. Okay, they say 26. Okay, yeah, he young. So it's not a tragic end. You could be a baser for a little while. Clean up your act. Go to the dentist, fix them teeth up. Yes, Javi. I really liked Javi. I was so mad that, you know what? I was feeling bad for Ruben, but I don't no more, because I forgot how he did Javi. He told Javi he was going to let him go if he gave him the information, and then he just killed him. So you know what? F Ruben. In all my guesses, I didn't expect this one, and it was perfect. Yeah, I didn't expect it to end the way it ended. I definitely didn't expect Sissy to be in jail. Now, I did foresee her killing Teddy only in the moment of that episode, because the way it was building, the way she was talking to him and Ruben, and then when she was like, I don't want Leon or my grandchild, I'm gonna go to make sure it was feeling fishy for me. I was like, yo, she got something up her sleeve. But yeah, I definitely did not see it going where it went. And I did not think Franklin would die. I did not think he would go to jail. But with his pride and greed, I thought he would end up alone with just his money. You know, like a Scrooge character or something like that. You know, like, it's just yo grumpy, prideful ass and all the money that you worked hard for brick by brick. And that he was going to not have anybody. Not V, not his mama, not nobody. But I definitely did not see him being a young Alton. I did not see that happening in the slightest. Okay. Let me see. Do we have any final thoughts before we wrap this up. And I think I am going to do a video ranking all the Snowfall seasons. And Kendrick Lamar's song Pride coming in right at the end. Chef kiss. Sissy was definitely up to something. And that's what the kid, like, look. How am I a gangster pulling up to the meet with my mama in this damn knit sweater? And that look like one of them itchy sweaters too. Y'all, I can't. Are you looking forward to the spinoff? What spinoff? What spinoff? They got a Snowfall spinoff? I don't know nothing about that. Do they have a, let me see. They got a Snowfall spinoff? Let me see. What the hell? It's a dog outside going crazy, and it's making my dogs bark. Let me see. Snowfall spin off. Oh, and I forgot. Y'all see I got my Boys in the Hood shirt on because they had a little tribute to John Singleton at the very end. Where is... I don't see... I tried to Google. I don't see anything about a spinoff. Wanda is getting a spinoff. Wanda? I love Wanda to death, but why the hell do we want to watch a show centered around Wanda? What is Wanda gonna be doing? If I get a spinoff, I want something that's still gangster. I don't want to follow, and I love Wanda. I love Wanda. I don't want a show centered around Wanda. What's she gonna be doing? He said she clean, living a good life, trying to get into the music business. That don't sound like nothing I want to see. What is this gonna be? Empire? Yeah, I'm not feeling a spinoff centered on Wanda. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. If we get a Snowfall spinoff, I want it to be something gangster. Who can we spin off? I'm not even sure I would want a spinoff centered on Scully. I love Scully, and he still in the game and gangster, but I don't see who would I want to follow. Also, out the game, he helping the kids. I can't think of no spinoff that I want to follow unless it's a spinoff that shows a completely different group of people that also deals with the CIA selling drugs and stuff. But no. Just, you know what? No spinoff. Just leave it alone. Like, it had a great run. It was great. Like, we don't no. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. And I thought it was crazy, even though maybe they scared because Irene was killed, but I thought it was crazy that no news outlets at all was covering the whole thing with Teddy, with Sissy yelling in court about he was with the CIA selling drugs. Like, I found it odd that you mean to tell me what, not one news, because remember she asked Leon and he was like, yeah, nah, ain't nothing about it. I thought that was kind of crazy. But any final thoughts, guys, because I am going to be signing off. This was a great final season. I do feel like episode 9, it was great. It annoyed me because, like I said, I felt like Franklin felt too contained in that interrogation with Teddy. I feel like he should have went a lot harder. I would have been effing Teddy up, like just hitting him for the fun of it. Now episode 10, I'm perfectly fine with how everything ended. It wasn't the best execution for me personally, But overall, I thought everything was great, and I love this show, and it should definitely be up there with Breaking Bad and all the shows like that. I don't know why we're not getting the awards and recognitions. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why. Thank you, Nicole. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And if you haven't, make sure you check out all of my Snowfall recaps I did for the season for each episode. And make sure you have your post notifications on, because I will be ranking all of the Snowfall seasons and talking about seasons 1 through 5 and seeing, which seasons rank. It's not even a worst to best. It's just a best to better. Because all the seasons were great. But thank you so much